Kojo, let me start with the Daily Graphic, and it's reporting this morning. Galamsey crackdown. Government rolls out radical measures. President orders military deployment. LI 2462 to be revoked. Water bodies, forest zone, reserve, red zone. Okay, so they'll be declared red zone. I need to bring you details of this story because it is a very powerful one. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has announced punitive measures against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. These including directing soldiers and other law enforcement agencies to flush out illegal miners from water bodies and forest reserves, which remain red zones. Red zone. To mining activities. As part of the measures, the president has directed that there should be immediate steps taken to revoke the Environmental Protection Agency. I'm talking about the LI 2462, which was also one of the demands of in fact, the full name is Mining in Forest Reserves Regulation 2023 LI 2462, when Parliament reconvenes this month. Now, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources sat with the Daily Graphic and gave them the details. You see, in fact, these renewed measures, that's what you call them, renewed measures, included soldiers being deployed as soon as possible. He added that they will deal ruthlessly with any person or entity found culpable in mining in the red zones, and any equipment being used, such as excavators, will be demolished or bent when it became necessary. The context here is that President met Labour. Labour yesterday said that after the meeting, they are still going ahead with their strike until they see action before Thursday. This is what the minister is claiming is the president's directive for action. This is similar to the statement issued by the Ministry of Information dictating things. I said that the Ministry of Information did not, they also had reasons, right? Yeah, it had reasons in there. They didn't say that the military will be deployed as soon as possible. They didn't also say that the people are acting with dispatch. Indeed, here, it's almost been made to look like we have elevated the fight immediately. Now, no matter what you do, that when is the deployment? When are they calling us for, Vanguard were there, Galamstop were there, the other ones, Halt were there. When are they calling us for another fanfare? No, not fanfare.
This is what
publicity
I want to
ahead of there.
This is what I want to see. The military should be said immediate deployment, or as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
It should be immediate deployment.
The first words of the minister was that if it became necessary, that is when he first talked about it. If it became necessary, then now it's as soon as possible. I don't know how the possible and the soon is going to happen anyway.
The military immediately. And so this is what should
and they should start from Galamsey operations behind police buildings.
Yes.
So it appears the police have developed a certain blind spot to that problem.
And in fact,
around them.
Yesterday you heard the Minerals Commission CEO, Martin Ayisi, saying that he's reported it. And I'm surprised that he's reported to the police and the people are still mining. Just listen to Martin Ayisi. When he met the Government Assurances Committee. And I'll make a point after that.
We have reported severally that behind Inyam police station, people are doing stuff there which we have not permitted. So how come that the police is not taking action? So those guys that Minerals Commission has brought to the attention of MUSEC or DISEC, depending on where it is. The Enyinam one, for example, that Galamsey is taking place behind the police station. So it's like we've told you Galamsey is having a job, 600 proper, that is behind this new block. Respectfully, Honorable Okujeto and chair of this respectful Honorable Committee, the Minerals Commission officer has done his work. I am not saying that we have also not let Ghana down or we are 100% right, because they have told you that there are instances where people have had all their rights and they have made mistakes. Of course, that's why they are inspectors.
So, behind a police station, illegal mining, and look, even the Minerals Commission has informed the police that these people are operating illegally.
So the police could not see the operation behind that building. Let's just say that they were there and somebody had given a concession behind the police station, and the police had no independent means of verifying whether or not this is legal operation, you have been informed by the people
Minerals
that
Commission.
issues the license.
Yes.
So now it moves away from you not acting because you had no information or you had limited information into you being willfully derelict in the performance of your duties. But if you are not worried about the rest of the people in the community, how about the police station you're operating? How about the possible collapse of that police station? How about the impact of that mining operation on that police station that you're operating in?
How about the poisoning of the soil?
Yeah.
That is going to grow the tomatoes and pepper that will be used for the food that you eat because you work in that police station.
Yeah.
So, look, for me, there are two questions I want to ask. The first one is, if the Minerals Commission boss is admitting to Parliament that he can't argue that they've let the country down, why is he still in office? My second question is this: what exactly is the reason why the police is unable to act against Galamsey? What is the specific reason? Is it political pressure? Okay, who puts political pressure on the police? Who? Who does the IGP report to? Does the IGP report to more than 2 people? As far as I'm aware, you might say he reports to the vice president on the police council and the president who appointed him. Anyone else?
Maybe the Minister of Interior, but then...
Okay. So now we're narrowing it down. So who is putting political pressure on the IGP? If that is their response, if that is their explanation...
Yeah, because they've not said so.
They've not said so.
Yeah.
We are waiting to hear what their explanation is. And there must be an explanation. It's not enough to apologize and say they will do better. We need to understand how it is even possible for a police officer, for a police station to operate right in front of a Galamsey concession, where it has been reported to you by the Minerals Commission, and it is still happening. Like, we need to understand how such a thing could come to pass.
Okay. Now, let me bring you some very interesting story on page 28. Your child isn't lazy. He needs support. Dr. Rosalind Abigail Charade is actually talking about dyslexia. And it's one of the most common learning differences affecting how the brain processes written and spoken language. Children with dyslexia may struggle with reading, spelling, and writing, even though they are as bright and capable as their peers. This often leads to a frustrating experience in the classroom, where these children may fall behind despite their efforts. Are there ways of determining children who are dyslexic in this country, as in most public schools?
Well, it's very difficult. I listen.
Can we evaluate that? Do we send people to go there consistently to evaluate that?
I listened to a program on Springboard where there was this lady, and she was talking about her experience with dyslexia. And, she talked about how she went through school, eventually got to JSS. She was being repeated and repeated, but eventually she decided to move to another school, wrote her exam, she failed. And then she now goes to a catering institution. While there, she started doing well. But in the course of, her work there, she met somebody who suggested to her that you may be suffering from dyslexia. But she said, what is that? And that was even the first time she heard that. Now, when she traveled outside this country to further her education, that was when it became very obvious to her. And that was when they actually diagnosed her. And so, in our part of the world, problematic. These days, you have people who... And that is, 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000, they come across you, they look at a few things, and they probably would do further checks and, diagnose you with it. But it's not something that we go through the public schools looking out for.
There was a time in this republic that teachers held cane over the head of students, asking them to multiply immediately.
Yeah.
And the pace at which you answer this question is what determines whether or not you are competent enough. And if you are not that competent, you got some whips merely because you could not do it at the pace. How were they able to determine among the students that they are engaging that some of them were dyslexic or not?
Yeah. Sadly. Yeah. They just...
So they were beating the answers out of them.
No, and sometimes they will
when
beat
they were
you.
worsening the case, rather.
Sometimes they beat you until, the teacher gives up.
Yeah.
He thinks, well,
He's unleashing his frustrations on you.
Yeah.
in such an incompetent manner.
We call it mental.
Yes.
And dictation.
Come on.
Spell this.
No, but it's serious. I mean, we have damaged people for no reason. We have made people terrible at mathematics, terrible at writing, terrible at spelling, merely because of how we taught them. And perhaps everybody should read this article. It gives us a brighter look of how we can deal with students in a modern, advanced, and evolved way. Anyway, but before I move on, Citizens App has been launched for government services, and economic growth is exceeding pre-COVID levels. This is the finance minister speaking here.
The Daily Guide says Baumia outdoor Citizen App. We did not force suspects, the police service. Galamsey protesters, 21 granted bail, Vomawo denied bail. We know that Oliver Baka Vomawo has been denied bail. We'll talk about that later. Supreme Court ready for anti-gay bail hearing, and change divisional commander Achim Kotoku chiefs. So the Achim Kotoku chiefs actually called on the IGP to transfer the divisional commander, citing his detrimental impact on the area's security and stability. They say that his presence as commander at Achimodan is escalating tensions in the area, and they indicated in the letter that his tyrannical and oppressive administration has thrown the area into chaos, disorder, and anarchy. Okay.
Conflict in Achimodan.
Yes. So they say that because of so they want him out as commander. Back page, Blast Stars start Sudan preparations in Accra, and Kwesi Appiah, following CAF's letter, has decided to quit as Ghana Football Association Executive Committee member.
Oh, we thought you would leave the Sudan job, rather.
No.
It's not patriotism.
Which one is that?
Being patriotic.
The man is paid by Sudan monthly. You want him to maintain this. Quickly, the Economic Times, banks unlock credit to private sector. BOG auctions 120 million forex to BDCs in Q4, and Ghana's economy to expand by 5.5%, Fitch predicts.